This week I want to talk about the keto diet, K-E-T-O. It's a low carb, no carb diet where you basically just eat foods that have little to no carbs in them. You try to keep it under a certain amount, like 40 grams I think is what mine is. And really what that ends up doing is getting rid of a lot of bread, a lot of sugar, a lot of processed foods have pretty high carbohydrates, and you swap it out with a lot of proteins, a lot of fat, which seems kind of counter because you're always told that fat is bad for you, but it's not necessarily true. Really what's bad for you is calories, lots of calories, and below that is the carbohydrates. That's where a lot of the calories come from. So you go low carb, no carb, and it really adjusts your body. You get into what's called ketosis, where your body starts using up all the sugars that you have stored up, which basically gets rid of your fat. Now, a little bit of background. 4 years ago, my wife and I started working on losing weight, and I learned a lot from that process. We just basically started counting calories. Found out that you're supposed to be at under a certain amount of calories to lose X amount of pounds a week. And so that first week I learned a whole bunch, like I don't need to eat 2 double meat, double cheese, mayo sandwiches for lunch every day. What I need to do is cut down to switch to mustard, cut out half of the meat and cheese, and then eventually I got down to one sandwich. I was eating one mustard, turkey, cheese sandwich for lunch. And that was it. And I made other little changes, like I didn't change the calorie count. Well, I swapped to a reasonable amount of cereal, and then I swapped to oatmeal because oatmeal was the same amount of calories, but it stayed with me longer. So I'd eat all that sugary cereal or whatever it was, and I'd be hungry within 3 hours. But with oatmeal, I'd be full for 4 or 5 hours. So little adjustments, little changes here, but what was really remarkable was that stuff stayed with me. When I've tried to lose weight before, crash diets, fad diets, whatever, you lose the weight and then you put it back on because you didn't learn anything. So this time I learned quite a bit, and it stayed with me. So I kept the weight off for a pretty long time. I didn't put the weight back on until last year, and that was due to circumstances that's beyond our control. We were basically displaced, so we were eating outside or away from the house a lot, so we didn't have a lot of control over that. And but we got back, once we got back into our home, we were able to control what we're eating and be able to get back on track with the weight loss, or keeping the weight off. And then with the last year, or back in October, I found out that the ketosis diet, the ketogenic diet, there's some studies that say that it helps with migraines, and my wife suffers from migraines, and so she started that to kind of check and see. The result is she still gets migraines, but they don't seem to last as long or are as powerful or as strong, as painful. I don't know. So anyway, that's why she went on that, and so I decided to help too, because the side effect to it is that you lose weight. And she's lost quite a few pounds, and I dropped some weight too, and I'm really starting to enjoy. I'm seeing the benefits of it. We're both kind of plateaued right now, but we just make a few adjustments here and there, and we'll drop the weight again. I will say there are some things that I miss about being on a low carb, no carb diet, and that's Mexican food. Mexican food is so good. I love it. But so much of the Mexican food is really high carbs. Just the tortillas alone are ridiculous. Enchiladas, and surprisingly, beans are high in carbohydrates. I didn't think that. I always thought they were pretty high in protein, but I didn't realize they were high in carbs too. So That was interesting to learn. So that cuts out almost all Mexican food. Refried beans are no good. Tortillas are no good. Fruits are okay in moderation. Most vegetables are okay. But really what we eat, almost all of our meals, is some sort of meat, bacon, sausage, ham, turkey, chicken, or eggs and cheese, those types of things. So, and another downside, we eat almonds too. Another downside to the whole thing is it really cuts out almost all sweets. No desserts for anything, and that kind of sucks. But there are some workarounds. You can find some low carb stuff, like dark chocolate morsels are pretty low carbs for what they are. So that works for a fix. There's a few other things here and there that you can pick up. You know, you can still have sweets as long as you keep them. You know, you can have like a sliver of cake, you know, to keep your carbs down. But you know, one slice of cake will put you way over. Pies out of the question. You know, so it's like you can get like a taste of things, and I guess that's really the worst part, is the foods that you really like tend to be pretty high carbs. My wife made grilled cheese for the kids the other night, and I looked at those grilled cheese sandwiches, and man, I was like just kind of drooling because I wanted some. They looked so good, but we ended up having like scrambled eggs with cheese and ham. It was still pretty good, but you know, you always want what you can't have, and those grilled cheese sandwiches were something I couldn't have. But it's little things like that. But for the most part, it seems to be working. I haven't had any real ill effects, you know, from it. And right now, I'm in between sizes on my pants. So I kept all the pants I had when I was at 175 pounds. But when I got back up to 205 pounds, 210 pounds, I had to go back up to fat boy jeans. And right now I'm at that size in between the two pants. So I've got some pants that I have to really cinch up to wear, and then I have some pants that I can button, but they are not comfortable. So if you're interested in doing the keto diet, look into it. There's a Corvette on this phone. So look into it. I mean, it's kind of hard to get into because you really have to evaluate how you eat. But once you get into it, it's really not too bad, and then you start dropping pounds. I lost 10 pounds the first week just from being on this diet, so that was worth it right there. Eventually I'll get back down to like 175 is what I'd like to be at, under 180 for sure. But one of the things about it is you don't have to count your calories as much. You don't have to be as strict on your calories, because all your calories come from protein. And for some reason, calories from protein are a lot different from calories from other types of food. You know, you could eat a steak. You could have a crazy high calorie steak, but it won't affect you like it would if you ate the similar calories in other types of food, like carbohydrates. Like if you had the same amount of calories in bread as you did steak, it would really have kind of an adverse effect on you. So that's the keto diet. Maybe you want to do it, maybe you don't.